Hi, diddly dee! It's season number 3. Fucking hell, lads, 3 seasons. Jesus wept. I have committed to doing a number of things. First and foremost, it's starting season 3. I'm going to be doing a podcast a day for the remainder of January, say. Let's say the next 3 weeks, thereabouts. So you can consider that there to be another 20 odd episodes forthcoming. I'm not going to do them every day. I'm going to upload them every day. And that kind of ties in with the second announcement of sorts. I've committed to doing this off the lead shit full time. So that means that on a day like today, whereby I'm down in the office and I have everything that I need to do whatever I need to do, I'm going to get maybe 2 or 3 podcasts out of the way. And the idea being that I'm not going to put myself under the same kind of pressure that I was under for the last season. Now, the last season I had committed to doing anything full time. I was still doing it as a kind of as a hobby, as a kind of labor of love type setup. But because, look, my business supplies restaurants. As far as I'm concerned, 2021 is going to be just as big a fuck up as 2020. As near as makes no difference. I stand to be corrected on that, and hopefully I will. But me that loves my little sayings, the best indicator of future performance is past performance. And I see our government as having largely mishandled the whole thing for 2020 and don't see that changing in 2021. The vaccine may help, but I don't know if it's going to be as effective as the people promoting it are saying it's going to be. B, I don't think that they're going to get the uptake of it that they're hoping for or expecting, because I think there's just too much doubt out there about it. I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any stretch of the imagination. However, I do have my reservations, as I think everybody should. That's not being anti-vax. I'm a skeptical person, first and foremost, about everything, all the time, and always have been, so this is nothing new. Just because you're skeptical about things doesn't mean that you're a conspiracy theorist. I haven't made my mind up one way or the other whether or not I'm going to take it. I don't know enough about it to make that decision, to be perfectly honest. I'm not particularly afraid of COVID myself, per se. When such a time comes when young, healthy, fit men, are high risk, I may reconsider my options. Or if my health status deteriorates for whatever reason, I may change my mind or change my opinion. As it stands, I personally am not particularly afraid of it. I know my mother is fucking terrified of it, and my mother-in-law, and they have right to be. I mean, it has killed people. It certainly has. It's no joke. And if it's needed of me to take this vaccine in order for it to be effective for other people, this idea of herd mentality, maybe I'll be happy to take it. Maybe I'll be happy to take it then. Look, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'm not pro. I'm not anti. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm undecided. I don't fucking know, okay? And I don't fucking know because I haven't looked into it. That's the long and short of it. My understanding is that they're rolling it out to people who most need it. Therefore, I'm way down that fucking list, I would imagine. Anyway, enough about poxy fucking COVID and poxy fucking vaccines. Because my outlook for the restaurants is relatively bleak, insofar as it's not really going to be a thing in 2021. It mightn't be a thing in 2022, I don't know. But I feel like I've fannied around and pissed about enough in 2020 and not changed my... I haven't pivoted, basically. I had a business, it was set up to do a certain thing. The certain thing that it's supposed to supply isn't there anymore. And I don't have enough of a love of what I was doing to pivot it in any major way or to really get after it. I'm not that arsed. I was never that arsed. From the fucking get-go, I was never that bothered about the whole growing microgreens business end of things. Okay? Never. And anybody that knows me well will contest to that. But Off the Lead is a passion project. It's something that I genuinely believe in, and it's something that it's what I would roll out nationwide if there was a magical click of the fingers and I was put in charge of everything. Okay, Frano, how are you going to solve all of Ireland's problems? The first thing is an acknowledgement that it's going to take minimum 10 years for for what I'm going to do to make any fucking difference, really. Okay? It'll make massive difference to individuals, but wholesale, I don't see how the promotion of Off the Lead could work on any real scalable level in anything less than 10 years. I would also like to add that anybody who claims that they can do better than that, anybody who claims that they can kind of solve a country's problems or change a country's kind of path or trajectory in anything less than 10 years, I'm going to be wearing my skeptical face as usual. Now, what I want to do with Off the Lead is very ill-defined and very defined depending on what kind of humor I'm in. Essentially what I'm preaching is awareness of self and by default of others, because once you become aware of yourself and your own failings and shortcomings and strengths and weaknesses and everything else, at least then you have a hope of understanding others. Because if you can't understand your own shit, you're never going to understand anybody else's shit. So personal responsibility numero uno with me. It's getting people to focus on what's important to them, what's holding them back, what they're doing well, what they're doing poorly. And when I say they and we and terms like that, I mean me. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. For me, this is first and foremost a selfish endeavour. Monday of this week, so right, the 1st of January 2021, I believe, was last Friday. Okay, so the first of the year, New Year's Day, put your fucking feet up and eat the dinner that's left over from Christmas or the sweets or whatever it is. Okay, it's New Year's Day, relax. Okay, then it was Saturday and Sunday, and you're still kind of a little bit groggy from the whole Christmas thing. But Monday of this week was kind of the start of the new year. That's how I kind of conceptualized it. Now, Monday herself was in work, so I was at home with the two kids. So, nothing outside of looking after them got done. Tuesday, she wasn't working. I was in work. So I had to tie up a load of loose ends in the office. I had a year end to look after. I had all my invoices and statements to get out to my customers and basically box up everything because my business is closed now and will be closed for the foreseeable future. Now, don't get me wrong, a flick of a few switches and she's up and running again. But realistically, the way I view it is I'm going to be open and closed a couple of times in 2021, and that doesn't warrant, focusing 40 hours a week of your energy on. So I've decided to commit to doing this Off the Lead thing full time in its stead. So Tuesday was, tidying up loose bits in the office. Oh, Jesus Christ, lads, it was fucking brilliant. I came in and by some miracle, the internet was working and my computer was working. And a mixture of those two things just made my life incalculably easier. Jesus Christ, you click a button and something happens. It was a miracle. But anyway, I got a load of shit done that's been hanging over me for months. It took me a day to do it all. But for some reason, I didn't do that day's work 3 months ago. Okay, I fucking tortured myself. There wasn't a day in the last 3 months that it didn't come across my mind. Oh, I've got that shit for my accountant to do. Oh, I've got that shit for my year end to do. Oh, I've got that shit to send out to my customers to do. And I just look. I hate office work. I hate sitting in front of a computer. I hate tapping on a fucking keyboard. Okay, I hate all that shit. It's not me. It's not the way I'm built. Okay, give me something to build or to break or to dig or to fucking climb or to do. Okay, I'm a fucking hands-on doing person. I'm not a bent over a keyboard staring at a fucking screen for the rest of my life kind of person. Okay, I did enough of that in previous lives and I don't want to do a whole pile more of it. But it has to be fucking done, so just fucking do it. That's just me giving out to myself as usual. But anyway, I digress. That was Tuesday. Boxed off all the office stuff. I was working again on Wednesday. Wednesday was great. Well, not great, but I had to dump a whole load of stuff because when you open up a business and close it down, especially if it's a business that grows something, I can't open up on a Monday and sell produce on the Tuesday. Okay, I have to open up a week or two in advance to heat up the place and to sow seeds and to do the whole growing thing. And then a week and a half later, I can start selling stuff. But the same is true on the other end of the spectrum. So the government announces, oh yeah, you know the way all the restaurants are open? Yeah, well, they're closed as of tomorrow at 2 o'clock. What do you think I had fucking growing? I'll tell you what I had growing. The next 2 weeks worth of stock. Okay? So all that built up and it all had to be dumped again. But anyway, on Wednesday, I got it all dumped. Okay? It's all behind me. It hasn't gone to the recycling centre yet, but it's all packed up in bags and it's as good as gone. Which brings me to today, Thursday. And I come into the office and I was like, right, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was kind of hoping I'd get a podcast recorded, but wasn't sure. Sat down, started taking notes, and fucking bish, bash, bosh, 2 hours went fucking by, and I hadn't anything to show for it. Okay? Other than the spinning of my brain, which spins kind of anyway. But there was nothing productive. I had nothing to show for it, essentially. A few notes on a page, but when you've got hundreds of thousands of pages of notes, you know, what's one more fucking page? It's just clutter, basically. So basically what I'm trying to get across to anybody that's listening and to myself, first and fucking foremost, get it in there, Frano, get it in there, is stop fucking procrastinating and get the shit that you need to do done. Okay? And then at least when the stuff that you need to have done is done, like my office work and getting everything dumped, at least at that point you can kind of sit down and try and do some work. But when the time comes to sit down and do a bit of work, what you need before you can even start is what you'll be happy with when you finish. So let's say you've got 8 hours in front of you in the day, or 10 or 2 or 3 or half an hour you're going to commit to doing something, whatever it is. Have it in your head what you'd settle for. And like I'm talking about minimum. You know, what's the least amount of productivity that I could do today that I will be happy with? Now, for me personally, what I'm going to do for the next 3 weeks is upload a podcast. If I get a podcast uploaded every day at a bare minimum, I'll be able to live with myself a little bit. Because if I don't, that's when I start fucking tearing away at myself from between my ears. And not in a good way. But before I started recording, I had to get clear in my head what I was going to talk about. So I started thinking and I started writing down even more notes. And I had to kind of catch myself. I was like, for fuck's sake, Frano, hit record and start fucking talking. Okay? Because the beauty of what I'm doing here is, it's not supposed to be brilliant. I'm not supposed to know what I'm doing. It's not supposed to be polished. Okay? It's supposed to be off the fucking top of the dome. That's the whole point of it. And the way I get better at it, it's not by setting aside 4 hours of, you know, note-taking and fucking writing shit down and bullet points of what I'm going to say or scripting it. That's not how I'm going to get better. The way I'm going to get better is just by doing more of it. Simple fucking as. The more you do of anything, the better it gets. I've said this before. This includes, you know, getting fitter or getting fatter. Okay? If you're running 2 or 3 times a week or every day or 10 times a day or whatever it is, if you're doing something to stay fit and to stay healthy and to stay active, the more you do of that, the better you will become. If you're not, and you're at home stuffing yourself full of sweets from fucking Christmas and whatever else, you're going to get better at doing it. You're going to get better at sitting on the couch. You're going to get better at fucking horsing down calories, and things are going to get progressively worse and worse and worse for you. Okay, so it's perhaps a great time of the year, my favourite time of the year personally, to make some fucking changes. One change that I'm committing to is cutting down my weed intake. I hit the bong every evening and have done for many years now, and it's a little bit too much. And I feel like I'm at a stage in my life whereby I can pull back from it a little, because I have been using it as a crutch, 100%. I've been self-medicating with the stuff, like most people do with drink. Okay, if you have a drink in the evening or every other evening, to me that's self-medicating. Okay, you're just relaxing yourself. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. On the contrary, okay, I'd sooner people self-medicated and had better lives than didn't and bet up their wives and kids, or whatever the hell you do when you don't have some sort of a crutch. Okay? It's just one thing that I'm committing to. And if I do it every second day, it means over the course of the year I'll essentially have halved my cannabis intake, which, you know, fucking will be thumbs up all round. But that's it. I'm not committing to anything more. I'm not committing to doing anything other than the podcast, obviously, but that's different. That's kind of work. But in my own personal life, I'm not going to say I'm going to stop eating chocolate or crisps or whatever. I'm not even going to say I'm going to cut down what I'm eating. Now, I have to stop eating what I was eating over the Christmas period. Like, the sooner you can fucking cut that off and get back to where you were pre-Christmas, all the fucking better. Don't let Christmas run into fucking February, because you'll be fucking 20 pounds heavier and you'll have bad skin and you won't be able to get out of bed in the morning and your life will be just fucking shitter than it should be. Or shitter than it would be otherwise. But the only thing that I'm committing to, it's one thing, it's a relatively big thing, it's something that I do every day and I've been doing it for years, but I'm not giving it up. Okay, I'm going to commit to doing it every second day. And you know what? If I miss 2 days in a row, that won't be the fucking end of the world. And if some days, if the day I'm skipping is a day I particularly need it, I'm not going to be too hard on myself. But that's just one thing that I'm not overly harsh on myself on that I'm going to change. Incremental steps and all that jazz. And that's 15 minutes, lads. I'm not going to commit to having more polished episodes. I'm not going to commit to doing anything other than uploading a podcast every day for the next couple of weeks. That's what I'm committing to. And I suggest that you do something similar. And what I mean by that is commit to doing something, have a minimum requirement of what you're going to do, have it in your head, if I just did that, and set the bar low here, lads. Set the bar low. Okay, don't be saying, oh, I'm going to fucking do this and this and this and this and I'll be fucking 8'4" by the end of the month. Okay, what's the minimum? And just make sure you do the minimum no matter what. And work out in your head, what's it going to take in order for you to do the minimum? Let's say you're going to do 20 minutes of fucking exercises every day. I don't know, just off the top of my head. You're going to do 20 minutes of exercises every day. Think about it. Realistically, if you're going to do that, if you're going to do 20 minutes of push-ups, sit-ups and star jumps and bear crawls and whatever the hell you want to do at home. If you're going to do 20 minutes a day, think about it. In order for you to actually follow that through, when is going to be the best time to do that 20 minutes? Now, the 20 minutes could be exercise or it could be learning another language or playing the guitar or whatever it is. 20 minutes a day is nothing. Like, you do something 20 minutes a day, see how good you are after 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so 20 minutes a day, but if you can do it in the morning, because if you miss the morning, then you've got lunchtime to kind of do it. Okay, kind of afternoon, and then you've late afternoon and evening and nighttime. But if you say to yourself, oh, I'm going to do something for 20 minutes a day and I'm going to start it in the evening, if you miss that window, you're fucked. So if you can try and get something in the mornings, there's just a better chance that you're actually going to finish the day having done it. And who knows, maybe you've done a little bit extra. But don't be killing yourself trying to do loads. Try and do small things regularly. And another thing that I'm going to try and rectify, and it's part and parcel of why I'm giving the cannabis a miss every other day, it's because there are things that we are doing. There are things that we're not doing. We're not going out running and we're not looking after a diet and we're not doing all these things that we know we should do, okay? But instead of bothering yourself about all the infinite possibilities of all the things that you could be doing, instead of trying to do new things, what about not doing the things that you know are in your own disinterest, if that makes sense, okay? What are you doing that's sabotaging your life? Okay, are you not telling your missus something, or you are telling her something and you don't think it's true? Whatever it is, it's different for me and it's different for everybody else. But there are certainly things that we do that are counterproductive. And personally, I think that my cannabis consumption on a daily basis has gotten to the point whereby it's counterproductive, and I'm using it as a crutch. I've been well aware of that fact for a long time, but I don't know, the timing seems to be right for me now to not give it up, don't get me wrong, but to ease up on it, to pull back a little. So that's episode 1 of season 3. I will be back tomorrow. I was going to say I don't know when I'll be chatting to you next, but I will be uploading every day for the next couple of weeks. I'm offthelead@gmail.com. There's video coming. What was I going to say about the pig? I'm not going to tell you about the pig. I'll tell you about the pig in the next episode. But I may or may not, haven't checked it out with herself yet, but I may be buying a piglet. The idea being, if I buy what's called a spring weaner, so it's a presumably male pig, possibly female, I'm not sure, either or, piglet, which is about, I think, 3 or 4 months old, and it's been weaned. So it's off the mother's tit, basically, and can be raised on, grass or vegetable scraps or whatever the hell fucking pigs eat. Pig food, probably. But I'm toying with the idea of buying a weaner, so like a 3 or 4 month old pig, and keeping it for 3 or 4 months and fattening it up basically. And when the time comes, kill it and skin it and butcher it and document the whole goddamn process. From going to meet the guy and buying the pig to putting up the fence where I'm going to keep it. Oh, speaking of putting up the fence, I fucking Googled the space you need to raise a pig. 8 foot by 8 foot was the answer that I got. Good, sweet Jesus Christ, what is wrong with the world? 8 foot by 8 foot is apparently all you need. I can assure you, my pig will get fucking a hell of a lot more than that. But anyway, I digress. We've just hit 20 minutes. Lads, it's the new year. It's looking like it's going to be a bit of a shit show. But you're in control of your life. Okay? You're not in control of who does or doesn't take this vaccine. You're not in control of who does or doesn't wear a mask. You're not in control of who does or doesn't obey the restrictions. Like you fucking should. Okay? Anybody that's listening, hello? Anybody there? Obey the fucking restrictions, for fuck's sake. But yeah, look, don't be worrying about other people. Look after yourself first and foremost. The best thing that you can do for your missus or your fella or your kids or your parents or your relatives or your fucking cousins or boyfriends or girlfriends or the world at large, the best thing that you can do for everybody is to fucking get on top of your own shit, put your best foot forward, and I'll chat to you tomorrow.